Welcome in to the Bobby Carpenter Show. And is it a big show today? Yes, it is. It is a huge week, Schlegs. There's so much robust energy. Thanksgiving week. It's Michigan. They just had a big victory over Indiana. There is a lot of positivity going around. I don't even really know where to start, Schlegs. We have Lathan Ransom on today. We're going to have Ben Stevens on today as well because we're not going to be on Thursday. I forgot. I think I said that last week. He's going to be on. I've got to remember to send him the link here because he's going to be on with us. Tomorrow, we're going to have Bill Bender as normal. And then I think we're going to have Jim Tressel on with us around 1 o'clock. Wednesday, AJ's still going to be on, so that's going to be good. And then also with that, I'm working to try to get someone from Michigan on, so we'll see if we can get that going. Maybe get Cardell back on for Friday. No show Thursday, but a lot going on this week. It's a huge week, Thanksgiving as well. So super excited. Big victory for the Buckeyes. I mean, 38-15. Start fast. I'm just eliminating that from the keys to the game because I don't know if that's on the roadmap for this team. You know, they might. I don't think that they do that. That's just not part of what they do, Schlegs, and it's okay. But they choose, like, you know what? Even when they get the ball, we'll go 3 and out, and then we'll just punt it away. Let them have 11 play, 6-minute drive, go down and score, follow it up with a drive, but then still not punch it in. And I was impressed with the environment, and we'll get to all these different things. But I'm going to get to you because we're 2 minutes in, and I've done all the talking here.
Yeah.
Your initial thoughts of like what you saw from Indiana and that game, where you think they're at, offensive line, whatever it is, wherever you want to go, sir. Let's hear it.
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, great to be with everybody. Yes, it's a huge week. We got to jam it in. You know, as we talk about in the offseason, 6 pounds of crap in a 3-pound bag. Here you go, drinking water through a fire hose. I'm at the Armory. I got alpha females from the Columbus Fury already get in here.
What does that sign say behind you? Is that a lifting chart over your left shoulder?
Yeah. It's stuff, man. It's like +2 programs and stuff.
Periodic tables, getting it going.
Yeah, elements. You know, hey, side nugget, the periodic table for iron is Fe. And everybody that's out there, boom, all of you need a heavy dose of that. Feed yourself some iron. All right, let's talk about this game. Yeah, you're right, Bob. Like, the first drive that Indiana had, 70 yards, right? They gave up 150 yards total in this game.
Yeah.
Right? Almost half of that came off that one particular drive.
Well, basically the rest of it came on the final drive of the game.
Exactly, 100%, right? Like, exactly. So we'll talk more about the defense here in a little bit, but everybody was talking about Ryan Day being aggressive, and you saw it on the second series or whatever, going for it. 4th and 10, or what was it?
In all fairness, that was after the 3rd and 35 after the Howard sack, the
ball to Cornell over there on the right side. That was great.
Well, but they were in if you go back and look, I'll have to find that play exactly to see, but on what yard line they were specifically on, but they were kind of in no man's land. It was too far for a field goal.
Yes.
It was too close to kind of punt. I want to say they're on like the mid 30s, like 38, and it's 4th and 10. So typically it isn't something you'd go for, but dude, they banged that in route to Cornell. That's the last play, I believe, of the first quarter. And then a ton of momentum. I almost wish the quarter wouldn't have ended because it felt like it kind of abruptly stopped some of the juice they had going.
It did. You're absolutely right. Then they don't get it right. They had that 4th and 1 and those are hard, right? It's like, man, you got Will Howard there. Like, why do I got to do that out of the gun when you just go get it with him? Regardless, then remember in that first drive, they were 4 for 4. We talked about winning the 3rd downs. They end up winning 3rd downs throughout the rest of the game. But just like that first scoring drive, right? They got great field position. They're on Indiana's 44, and they just started working down the field. Right? It was like a Mecca, and then it was Trey with a catch, JJ, a Mecca again, all passes, right? Then boom, touchdown to a Mecca. Great, but like I'm gonna hit up a little bit more of like the defense. Guys, they were talking about it on the TV broadcast. Ryan Day, bye week, going in, and I know everybody like Nebraska, whatever, but it was like 21 sacks going into this game from the bye week, right? Things have changed, and we talked about like personnel is not always the same year in and year out. How are you going to create that pressure? The cool thing for me was I remember talking to James a little bit about Alaska Magic and Bama's in the Floridas that we ran. Like, that's what we called them. It was like Field Florida Fire, Bama Magic, Alaska Magic, right? And you do Magic like this, like it was, oh no, Magic was this. This was Alaska, like an Eskimo, right? Bama was this one. Remember that, Bob? Bama?
Yeah.
You know, and it was like this. It was like Field Florida Fire, boom. But I was watching those, right? And so the one where Cody came, it was on the right side of the defense. He's showing up, going through the B gap, but they brought in Jordan. And Jordan was coming, looked like he was going to come from the outside. Then they switched it. Jordan ended up coming. And Cody didn't just like straight up go upfield in the C gap. He kind of like hesitated a little bit. And then, boom, the tackle blocks down on Jordan, free rush to the passer. They ran the same blitz, but just different this time. Jordan showed, went fast on the outside. Boom. Cody came in, got another sack right there through the B gap. Then you had the one where Cody was the penetrator, took the guard and tackle. The tackle goes out to contain. Jack comes around and gets a sack. You had JT coming off on pressure because, again, it's like now we got to slide it to this side. He's one-on-one, beats the guy. He's free, hits a quarterback. Guys, defensively, to go against the Indiana team, and here's the thing that everybody said about it, they haven't played anybody. Well, they've played. And in doing so, they played those games and they beat the opponents the way they needed to beat the opponents by a lot. I believe it was like 40-14 was like their average margin of victory. It was consistent. Yes, against Michigan State, they had 31 points in that game. Yes, versus Michigan, they had 20. And they had actually it was 17-3 going to half. Michigan made some good second half adjustments, and they won the game 20-15. They found a way of winning it. Now you come to Ohio State, and they capitalized. Again, the team, we wanted to see a full team displayed, something that we've been talking about. That's offense, defense, special teams, complementary football. Yes, they have the punt. Guy goes through his hands, kind of what conditions. Oh, woe is me. Guy, Caden Curry, always seems to be around the ball, tackles the guy down there, boom, sets up for, good field position. Then you got
He reminds me of your face, Schlegs.
He reminds me of my face?
Yeah, he's always around the balls.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Hey, and then we had, for the first time in 10 years, a punt return from a touchdown. And Caleb did a great job. Like, it was like a short punt, almost like a fire call, but it just bounced right to him. He's not going to let that continue to just keep bouncing down the field. He's going to make sure he gets it, stops the bleeding, but then he ends up takes it to the house, little spin move, hits the sideline, then cuts across the field. And again, who did you have going down there? You had Caden, you had Denzel, you had CJ making a great block on the side. All the things that we talk about, guys, the thing that's the most impressive to me about this entire team is the team mentality. Like, that's what they want to go and win, right? This is that song. All I do is win. That's all they care about, doing it unselfishly. And it was a great top 5 victory. Now this year, Ryan Day, 2-1 in top 5 matchups. Coming into the season, he was 2-6. Let's put that together. He's 4-7 now. There you go.
It's just math. It's just math. I love that. And may have a chance of the victory this week to potentially have another top 5 matchup, and in the Big Ten Championship, a rematch against Oregon. Schlegs, do you remember where you were the last time Ohio State returned a punt for a touchdown?
I was there. It was 2014. I was coaching.
Good. It was almost 10 years ago to the day. It was one day shy. Do you remember who the last dude to return?
Jalen Marshall.
Jalen Marshall against Indiana.
Indiana.
So it's very, very fitting that ultimately happened. I don't know if you would remember where you were the last time they returned a kickoff for a touchdown.
Was that Jordan Hall?
Jordan Hall, Michigan 2010. So maybe a 10-year drought broken, 14-year drought would be nice too. They've got Trey back there, another running back, to see if he maybe would be able to do something like that and get it going. It was just one of the other things. We've been in the show now for about 10 minutes, and I don't think that this can go. It can be understated. The thanks that I have, and I know the players and Ryan as well, for Buckeye Nation showing up the way that they did. And it's something that was talked about a lot. I wasn't fortunate enough to be at the game. I was out in Oklahoma doing some work, and so I'm watching this thing on my iPad as I'm doing some radio. And the first hour I had sound on, and then I'd actually get into what I was doing, and I had to just watch it on silent mode. But you could feel and hear the energy coming off, watching the guys celebrate with each other. engaging with the fans like that. That's what it's all about. And you could feel it. You could see that energy. And like, you wanted to start fast, give the crowd something to cheer about, give them something to get fired up for. And it didn't really happen. You go 3 and out, you give up a long drive, then you put something together and you get stuffed on the goal line. But from then on out, it was awesome. And the defense kept showing up. They kept playing. They kept battling. And you could see that interaction between the offense and the defense. You could see it with the fans. And Schlegels, I knew it was going to be a good one. I could tell it was going to be a good day. From watching College Game Day, so many people were out there. The juice was flowing strong. Everybody was fired up. And, man, it was an awesome experience. McAfee was great on there with Ryan going back and forth talking about,
They brought us up, Bob. I mean, honestly, come on, man.
Going and playing, suiting up, and Ryan laughed about it. And, they probably would go out there. Yeah, probably give you a snap or two.
I could do inside for sure. The problem would be, Bob, if us three went in there, I'm more concerned for everybody else that's out there. You know what I mean? Not concerned for me, right? I'm not concerned for you. I'm concerned for everybody else.
It's when you don't have to play a game. I mean, that
exactly.
is your game, so you're not worried about getting busted up anymore. But it was awesome. I was so pumped for the environment. And what's great about that, Schlegels, is then you have a second home game, the gravity of the home game. And we're going to talk a lot about that this week and dive into that. But to be able to have that Indiana game with the crowd, the way it was, everyone showing up, a precursor, I think, to the game against Michigan this week, just unbelievable. So hopefully, I made this point to Beam on my morning radio show. Sometimes you got to get to the top, near the top of the ladder before you can stand on it. And I think last week against Indiana, you got to the last step that they advised you to step on. But against Michigan, you're standing straight on top, dude. If it's a 6-foot ladder, you're standing 6 feet off the ground, in the air, whatever it takes. Maybe you have a spotter holding it. Maybe you don't.
That's the fans, Bob. That's honestly, you said that to me. The best part about this game from the fan perspective is that you stuck with it. That's what a fan does, in my opinion, right? Through thick or thin or whatever happens, you got to be there to support. You got to help rally the troops. You got to give them a little bit of the energy and pick them up within the play and knowing when to do it on, third down in Indiana. This is a critical component. And it's not they didn't get the fourth down. No, they're going to get back. They're going to get back there, everybody. We got to keep going. We got our role to play in this too. That was what was really cool for me. The fans right there in the stadium, in the shoe, they're the one holding the ladder because you're standing up there. Guess what? Proprioception's got to be on point, and you're going to be up there working overhead, standing on that little bitty platform, getting her done.
Absolutely, Schlegels. Well, we got our guy Lathan Ransom. He's got a busy week. He's going to carve out a little bit of time for us. We kept him waiting far too long. He'll be up next, but first, attention, parents and athletes. Protect what matters most with X Sport mouth guards. Professional dentists designed them. NHL professional athletes are wearing them. X Sport mouth guards are scientifically tested to absorb those high impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. X Sport mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection. Patented use of carbon fiber. They 3D print that bad boy right to your grill so you can have great protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Go to exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15%. Export, protect what matters most. Lathan Ransom, Buckeye safety. Captain Punch-Out coming up next. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like... I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages, because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. All right, welcome back into the program, and now we're going to welcome in our guy, Mr. Lathan Ransom. Kind enough to give us some time here. I know it's a busy week for you, Lathan. Before we get going, I mean, Captain Punch-Out was back again. If your guy Cody could have found a way to recover a fumble, I mean, how much crap were we giving him because that ball popped right into his stomach?
Yeah, it's funny. I did give him a little crap at first, and then it kind of hurt watching the film because in the film I punched it out, and from my point of view, I seen Cody jump on it, so I started celebrating. The ball ends up rolling kind of where I would have been at if I didn't celebrate. So I was kind of mad at myself that I kind of thought the play was over. So I kind of gave him crap, gave myself some crap, but hopefully we get another one this week.
Tell us a little bit about mindset going out, because I mean, Buckeye Nation, you can talk about that. You go down offense, they go 3 and out, right? We talked about last week. We want the ball, right, to get started defensively. They go down 70 yards. Score, you only gave up 150 the entire game. Like almost half came on that first one. They were 4 for 4 on third down. How did you settle back in? Like what was said on the sideline? What are you guys talking about? Boom, give everybody a little glimpse into that.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about last week going into this game. We know there's going to be ebbs and flows to the game. So to kind of stay in that kind of middle flow state was the biggest goal. And I think our defense did that. I mean, they came out first drive, again, gave up a third down. I think gave up 2 third downs. And that's not winning football right there. And then, get scored on. But we came sideline. No one was rattled. Everyone stayed calm. We've been in situations like this before. And honestly, couldn't wait for the defense to get back out there and get a stop, which we ended up doing.
And it's the second week in a row, you guys, or maybe third. Yes, the first drive of the game kind of moved the football a little bit. After that, you guys were absolutely locked down. What changes between that first drive? I know we can get on the iPads, we can see some things. Is there any structural changes? Kind of how does that work with making those adjustments, then moving back out?
Yeah, the first drive, the first couple plays are definitely scripted from their offense. So I always say the first drive is definitely always one of the tougher drives because you got some unscouted plays. You kind of you don't know the flow of the game yet. You don't know their game plan yet. And then also they came off a bye week, so they came in. They did a couple things different, on that first drive, and then we made the adjustments to it. And I think that's someone we've been really great this whole season is making adjustments, man. I think we've been great in the second half, been great after the first drive. Obviously, we've got to fix the first drive, but what was nice to see in this game plan is when I was talking my friend Rocket and Zach were back in town, so they asked me about the game and asked how the defense did so good. And there's nothing better than when your coaches come up with a game plan, they scouted, and the plays that they said that they're actually going to run we had an idea that they were going to run that. So hats off to our coaches and the guys that help, set up them game plans and help tell us what some tendencies and stuff like that, because it definitely showed up on Saturday.
So by Rocket, go ahead. I believe you'd be referred to Ronnie Hickman. Is that? All right, good. We got Ronnie back, and that's tremendous. Former Buckeye safety with the Browns now, a little time off. A lot of pressure this week. I know every week you work on some blitzes, you work on some different coverages, you work through some different stuff. I mean, Lathan, this is the most pressure I think that I've seen called, and then definitely getting home. Was that the plan going in, or just kind of evolved during the course of the game?
Yeah, that was definitely the plan going in. We kind of seen prior to that, if you watched the T1 North game, when they played T1 North in the second half, T1 North started sending some blitzes, some exotic pressures and stuff like that. And the quarterback seemed to struggle a little bit against that. So we kind of learned from them, came up with some pressures and stuff ourselves. And, I think the D-line played a heck of a job. Cody, Sonny did a great job. Zoe and Jordan did a great job disguising it, showing the quarterback different looks. And, I think that was also part of that game plan they came up with. But, yeah, that was definitely part of it.
One of the things I know Ryan talks about all the time is winning the middle 8. And if you look in this game, really flipped for me. You had the tip ball off of Jelani that gets picked. Defense goes out, right? Boom. 3 and out them, if I'm not mistaken. And they might have got a first down. I don't remember. Nope, they do. First down, running the football. Then you had a big sack by Cody, right? Then they end up running a draw. Punt goes off his hands. You guys get it, right? And then we score. How much did that just impact the game? Because I even wrote down in my notes, defensive battle, got to rise up. This was like the previous one before that. Like, talk a little bit about capitalizing on that momentum and how special teams played such a pivotal role in this game.
Yeah, special teams played a huge role in the last 3 games. I think that's the third either block punt or, a punt gets dropped or something, sacked, third one in a row. And y'all know how much, I don't know the exact statistic, y'all can tell me, but when either a block punt happens, a punt return happens, the percentage to win skyrockets. And we had both of those. We had him drop the punt, get tackled inside the 10, and then obviously Caleb punt return. I mean, your chance to win go through the roof when you have both opportunities like that. So special teams did a great job. We've been executing different looks on punt and been giving us some problems. Like you guys said, Caden Curry, he has a nose to find that ball. He definitely does, and always making plays, special teams when he gets in the game. So, I mean, I heard him screaming in his emotions right after the play, screaming into the crowd, "That's my third one. That's the third one." So, glad and I'm happy for what he's doing.
It's tremendous. What was the environment like? You've been here now, Lathan, 5 seasons. I wasn't at the game. A lot of people I went said it was as good as they can remember. How did the crowd impact it? You could see their offensive line getting disheveled with some communication issues.
Yeah, so it's funny. I guess in an interview, the head coach said something prior or after the game saying they weren't prepared for the silent count as enough as they should have been. They heard that Ohio Stadium wasn't that loud, or they wouldn't have to worry about it. But man, Ohio Stadium sold out. The Buckeyes sold out. That was the loudest game, most definitely all year. One of the loudest games I can remember. And when there's a game like that, man, Buckeye Nation has no idea how much we appreciate that because it makes a huge difference. It impacts the offense that we're playing as much as y'all see it did. It gives us a bunch of juice, a bunch of excitement, and I mean, it makes us want to go out there and make a play for you guys even more. So to see them impact the game, we're excited, and it got me itching to see what it's going to sound like this weekend.
So hey, so now, boom. Is it true that, and tell everybody how this works, that as soon as it went to 000, it's already that Team Up North week? Tell everybody a little bit about what you walked into on Sunday in the Woody.
Exactly what you said. Right when this game ended, we got to the locker room. A lot of the seniors, a lot of the old dudes started walking around and explaining to each other already, this is what we came back for. I mean, this game's already over. The Indiana game was over on Saturday, whatever time that ended at, and we were focused on this Team Up North game. And like you said, we went into it Sunday, obviously seeing the corrections from the game, excited about, the people that grade out a champion. But, I mean, this is the game that we all came back for. This is the game that we have circled. This is the biggest game in the year to us right now. So it's all that matters is beating the Team Up North.
What's this week like as far as how is it different than normal week? Obviously, you have the Thanksgiving holiday in there, and you try to navigate around that a little bit. You do the band stuff on Saturday night, but just the entirety of this week, Lathan. I mean, the mentality, the stuff that goes on, how is it different and unique from any other week?
Intense. It's very intense just going into this game. I mean, uh, I get fired up even talking about it right now because I just want to get to that game, and I'm honestly tired of the talk, honestly. But I think just knowing that this was our goal, this is our goal. It's been our goal the last couple of years. This is our goal this year. This is our number one goal. That's all I want to talk about. That's all I want to think about. I'm not thinking about the playoffs. I'm not thinking about nothing else. I'm thinking about this one game, and we can't wait to play it. Practice is going to be hard. Meeting is going to be hard. Execution's got to be at the highest level. So we're going in there, man. One goal in our mind, and it's to dominate in this game.
Absolutely. Lathan, we appreciate the time, man. Go get some rest, get some film study, get everything you need to get taken care of this week, and look forward to seeing you around the Woody and getting ready for Saturday afternoon.
You guys, thank you.
See you, bro.
Absolutely. Lathan Ransom. He's one of our favorites. Also, Columbus. I want to let you know this big play. They'll be bouncing around tailgates this Saturday before the Ohio State-Michigan game down at the Shoe, playing some trivia with us, win a cheeseburger presented by Swenson's. We'll have a full clip on Monday, December 2nd on the show right here, Bobby Carpenter Show. So make sure you stay locked in, see me bouncing around a little bit. We're going to be calling the game, so it's going to be early, but I know everybody will be showing out and ready to go early in the morning. All right, we've got headlines coming up next. My prescriber checked my numbers, and Affinity Whole Health designed a program that was customized to fit my needs. So I'm telling you guys, if you have low energy, you want to get rid of that spare tire around the waist or take it to the next level in the bedroom, Affinity Whole Health is the place to get started. So don't wait any longer. 5 minutes of your time, book your free consultation. You're going to love the way you feel. All right, now it's time for headlines brought to you by our friends at Affinity Whole Health. They offer personalized treatment plans to help people feel better, whether you're struggling with weight loss, low energy, muscle loss, poor sleep. They can help you with all of it. Here's what you do. You're going to go to affinityWholeHealth.com. You're going to go in there, set up your free consultation. Boom. You go there. You go into the office. They're going to do a workup for you. They're going to establish some goals, run some blood, get some labs. They're going to say, hey, what do you want to do? You want to gain muscle? Weight loss, maybe both. We got semaglutide, we got TRT programs, we got a lot of stuff. We can combine them. We can do all that for you. They're going to ship you home and say, get out of there. And then in 2 days, it's going to be right on your doorstep. So listen, it's holiday time. I know it can wear you down a little bit right now. You can put on some extra pounds, lose that shape, physique, and everyone wants to start January 1. Get ahead of the game and start right now so you can hit the ground running and you'll be ready to rock on January 1st. So affinityWholeHealth.com. Go there and check them out today. All right, Schlegs.
Let's go, baby. Come on.
We got our players of the game.
Yep.
And there's some great choices here. We'll start off with our defensive player of the game. And it's, guy who has earned this. He's been here 5 years. He waited a long time to be the man, to be the captain, wear the blocko. You go look at his numbers, Schlegs. I mean, I don't know, what do you have? 10 tackles, 2.5 sacks, caused a fumble. Cody Simon, unbelievable job. Almost had a fumble recovery there and absolutely stuffed the stats. If he would have that fumble recovery, I don't know if you could have had a better game as a defensive player. He did miss one tackle, though, Schlegs, on an inside run that he slid off of, maybe more, but I remember that one. So it wasn't perfect because no one plays a perfect game, but great job to Cody.
No, Cody's doing phenomenal, and everybody's like, "Oh, about linebacker you and all this." Like honestly, James Laurinaitis has done a phenomenal job, guys. Like, the tip of the cap to our boy James. Like, Cody's playing the best he's ever played. Sonny every single week is getting better, and in that game has some big time plays. But the linebackers and the way that they're utilizing him in the blitz and even stopping the run, like Cody's just been playing out of his mind. Super proud of him. Well deserved.
All right, offensive player of the game. Let's throw it up there. None other than Ohio State Buckeye offensive quarterback, Mr. Billy Howard, Will Howard, Schlegs. Unbelievable game. He has been absolutely on fire statistically as you watch what he's been able to do. Looked really good. What is he completing? 80% of his passes now. He's the leader in the nation. Doing that, the ball he dropped into a Mecca on the touchdown was remarkable. Threw an interception, but you know what? I don't put that on him as Jelani gets tipped. It's over the middle. He made great decisions. Just a heck of a job. 22 of 26, 2 TDs. Did just a great job as well. Obviously ran it in there for a touchdown at the end and made some plays with his legs.
Well, I mean, that 80% you're alluding to, Bob, it's the 6th game he's done it. It is the single season and career record for an Ohio State quarterback at Ohio State. Better than C.J. Stroud, Cornelius Green, Justin Fields. The dude has done it, right? I mean, again, this is coming from a guy that was 61% completion rate at Kansas State, and now he has 6 games where he's completed over 80%. He's managing the game, guys. Like, he is everything that you want in a Buckeye quarterback from how he's performing on the field, but more importantly to me, his leadership and that he's there for his teammates, and he's all in on being a Buckeye. I love it. I love watching it. Super excited for the kid.
He's the best. All right, now we got our special teams player of the game. You're like, okay, there's a couple guys did some great stuff. Well, there's one guy, Schlegs, who stood head and shoulders with his punt return for a touchdown. 79 yards, Mr. Caleb Downs, looking super silky smooth out there. Nice little spin move. When you saw him break in the open field, they said the stadium. Like when you know that the guy is going to score, as soon as you see him make that last cut, they said it erupted, and it was remarkable. And kudos to Caleb Downs. He's been playing great on defense all year. Now we got a chance to see him in that return game.
Yeah, it was great to see him in the return game, all the different things that he can do. We've seen Travis Hunter and that kind of stuff, but he's a very, very special player. Loved the little nugget about him and his dad talking to him about like his football acumen and that he's been dissecting football plays since he was 4 years old. I freaking love it. I love everything that he does. He's a true pro, right? And he's only a sophomore, guys. Like we get him another year. Fantastic. Good for him.
All right, we got our tailgate talk brought to you by Real Truck coming up next.
Get the most out of work, life, and all your outdoor adventures with top-selling upgrades for your truck. Guaranteed fit, free shipping, easy install, expert support, and thousands of dealers just a click away. Bring your truck to life. Real Truck. Upgrade today and save between $50 and $400 on select Real Truck products. Visit realtruck.com/specials.
All right. Welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show here, and we got our tailgate talk brought to you by our friends over at Real Truck. Wanted to share an offer with you, our friends at Real Truck, loyal listeners. How about this? If you're looking for a Jeep, truck, Bronco, accessories, whatever it is, as a gift this season, head over to realtruck.com. You can purchase $100 worth of gear, interior, exterior. They got stuff for everything. They're going to give you a free Real Truck hat. All you got to do is use promo code Bobby at checkout. That's realtruck.com. Great holiday gifts. Go check them out. $100 or more. Promo code Bobby when you check out. Realtruck.com. Get the free hat. All right, Schlegs, little tailgate talk. Our guy Cardell had some comments here about the game, what it means, and how all that works. We want to toss that up there. I think we have the sound with that too. I want to be able to play this and take a listen. Well, you saw Cardell right there, just Xing out the M on the Ram. Now, Ram trucks are great, but you know what? You got to X out the M. I get it. So he's got one quick comment here before we got Ben Stevens on deck, who's going to be fantastic to join. This was from last week, Thursday, on the YouTube chat. Folks, listen, if you're watching, make sure, like, subscribe, leave comments, questions, whatever it is. We appreciate it. We always get to them. And this one is the very end of Thursday's show. Seems like the defense is in a position to make TFLs or a sack, but they missed the tackle. How do you coach them to finish, Schlegs?
Finish him, dude, finishers. Hey, I mean, I had 5 sacks this game. And you know what? I'm going to say this, guys. Like, I'm watching the game and people – 8 TFLs, right, Bob? So part of it sometimes, and I think what you're alluding to is there's been some games where guys come on the edge and the quarterback got around them and missed a tackle. Part of it is knowing what your landing mark is. And if you're on the edge, it's always the upfield shoulder of the guy forcing him back up into the middle, right? Because you should have a push. And if it's not, and he can just take off running, that's, some lane assignment, lane discipline in your rush, but always on that upfield shoulder so the guy can't do that and you can come down and make a tackle. But I will say this. I saw people tweeting and all these different things, right? It's like, when are we going to get pressure? I said it too soon. My biggest thing is everybody that comments, like, I just let the game unfold, right? I see what's trying to happen. I see what's going on. Just let it unfold, because guess what? In that game, 5 sacks, 8 TFLs. Like, I think now after the Oregon game, going into this game, they had 17 sacks. Guys, remember all of last year, they had 23 sacks. We've talked about this, like defensively, and Jim Knowles been there. The big play that really happened in the Michigan games, that's been negated, right? We had some big plays in that Oregon game, really has slowed down. That's a great offense that they've been playing. Getting pressure. They had 13 going into Oregon. They've had 17 since. That's already at 30. Boom, boom, boom. Add another 5 to it. You're at 35 for the year. I don't know if that number is right, but it's probably pretty daggum close. That's exactly where you want to be. Hats off to the guys for getting it done.
All right, Schlegs, head to realtruck.com. That's our tailgate talk brought to them. They got these unbelievable splash specials that will be going on for their Black Friday deals. So make sure to check them out. I'll make sure to stick around, because we got Ben Scott Stevens coming up to win you a little cash for this holiday time. Ben Stevens, Sports Grid, up next. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like... I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages, because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. All right, now we get to welcome in our guy, Mr. Ben Scott Stevens. And Ben, it was a wild weekend last week. It was supposed to be the sleepy weekend, like a lot of favorites, people winning. Ohio State and Indiana was kind of the big game. But as always, it's upset city in college football.
Yes, Bobby, it certainly is. In the entirety of the month of November, we have seen at least 3 ranked teams lose to an unranked foe each and every weekend. 17 total unranked upsets, which is the beautiful thing about the unique sport of college football that we love. The chaos that can ensue, even when point spreads are large and games are expected to be easy, and we think we already know how the outcome is going to play out. It is anything but, and I think we should remind ourselves that in this new era of college football, that we all wanted to be a little bit more equal, that we wanted results to matter on the actual playing surface and the outcomes of games on a football field to be the defining factor. That is what we are seeing, and that's a good thing.
Ben, you're amazing. So I like that you like it. I like it as well. There's a lot of parity now. Every single week, you got a show out, Juicy J style. Bob, I'm just going to go into this week because, Ben, you have a way of just making people money, right? And we're seeing some really close things like the SEC. Nobody wanted Indiana to be in there, right? They haven't played anybody. Well, then everybody just gets beat, okay? So now going into this week, one thing that I'm looking at, ACC, FEC, I like South Carolina. I like the way they play football. Clemson's sitting there at 9-2. Can they get into the ACC championship game? Break down South Carolina at Clemson.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Schlegs, about what this weekend has at stake, what is on the line. It's not just each and every individual game, but direct ramifications for a conference championship matchup or to stay in the hunt for a college football playoff at large berth, which Clemson and South Carolina, the winner of the game in Death Valley on Saturday afternoon, is going to feel pretty confident about the resume, despite the fact the Gamecocks have 3 losses. In fact, I think if you wanted to make an argument, South Carolina might be the best 3-loss team out of many of them many of them
Yep.
in the SEC. But Clemson, their ACC schedule, of course, is done. This is an in-state but non-conference matchup. Clemson needs Miami to lose on the road to Syracuse. The Canes booked as a double-digit dog to get in to the ACC championship. Key of this game, how effective is Phil Maffa going to be able to be against a South Carolina front that is as good as any as you will see in college football, both about applying pressure on the quarterback and slowing down the opposing rushing attack. South Carolina, as we would expect, at least a slight underdog in Clemson, or at Clemson rather, but the Gamecocks have been an unreal underdog this year. 4-1 against the number, 2 outright victories in those matchups against Kentucky and Texas A&M. We're getting close to the range of a pick'em. We have seen Clemson be more vulnerable in Death Valley than they really had in the previous 5, 6, 7 years in the past 2 or 3. I think South Carolina is rearing up for this game, looking to make a statement. I actually take the points early with the Gamecocks.
So the Longhorns struggle a little bit with Kentucky, play with their food, end up pulling out a victory. A&M coming off of a loss in triple overtime banner from on the Plains out there. A game that's going to have a lot of gravity. 7:30 Saturday night. A&M favored by, or Texas rather, favored by 6. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, Bobby, the look-ahead line to this game entering Week 13 in our previous Saturday was more than a touchdown in favor of the Longhorns. As we are learning each and every week, it is difficult to win. It is difficult to win on the road. A&M, one of those 3 top 15 SEC teams that faltered as a road favorite during Week 13. This line now down to 6, 5.5 in some spots. We are expecting a very close game. This is why we love college football. It is the renewal of the Lone Star Showdown that they played for 97 consecutive years, from 1915 until 2011, before A&M departed the Big 12 and into the SEC. Conference rivals once again in a game that will decide the second spot in Atlanta in the SEC championship game. For me, the story of this game is defense. Texas is a much better defense than that of A&M. We have seen Texas A&M exposed on the ground each of its previous 2 games against South Carolina, where in that matchup, Lenora Sellers and Rocket Sanders are still running. And last week, Jarquez Hunter was a man among boys. And I thought this A&M front with Nick Scorton and the like would be elite. It has not been all that great in the last month. I'm going to trust Texas's defense, as crazy as it might be to say. I actually lean Texas laying the points in College Station against A&M on Saturday.
That's interesting. That's going to be a real one, man. I'm excited to have the rivalry back, being from the state of Texas. It's a great one. You had Alabama. They got Auburn. And Auburn wanted to do some stuff last week. And then Alabama just wants to go to OU and be beat by an unranked OU team badly. And now you got the Iron Bowl, of which some people were like, no, it's Auburn, Alabama. That's the game. No, Michigan, Ohio State is the game. That's why it's called the game. But talk to us a little bit about this matchup and where Alabama is right now.
I have no sense for it, Schlegel. I'm going to be very honest. And I know we're doing this earlier in the week than we normally do. I don't think that's going to change by the time we get to Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Alabama being a double-digit favorite does not feel correct, but it makes sense in a way because the Crimson Tide are at home. If this game was at Jordan Hare with all that has happened and the craziness always on the Plains and in the Iron Bowl, maybe a different story. My natural inclination is to take 11.5 points with Auburn because they have been just the craziest team in SEC play. As a favorite, they can't win a football game. As an underdog, they are 3-1 against the spread, and the only non-cover as a 3.5-point dog, losing by 4 against Missouri. Auburn has been so good defensively. And I know A&M, by the time we got to quadruple overtime, ended up putting up some points. But Auburn built out an early lead. So, in fact, when you look at where Alabama's defense has been, they have improved. The offense a little slow and stagnant as of late. I actually think I lean under the total in the Iron Bowl of 52.5 because if I'm going to play this game, I think Auburn keeps it close. Don't love the point spread, but if Auburn keeps it close, it's because of an elite defensive showing out of the Tigers. I go under 52 and a hook early, but again, not a great feel for that football game.
All right, now on to the game, the big one. I can't imagine that you're going to lay the points. It's a robust number. I don't feel good about it. What are your thoughts on that? And is there anything else that you see intriguing that you could potentially get an angle on?
Yeah, it's Michigan under team total 10.5. You guys know the narrative and the storyline. I don't need to belabor it. But Ohio State saw what happened last year, in the last 3 years, and said, never again over our dead body. We are gearing up for this game, not a game, the game. In this game, Ohio State shows just how elite defensively they can be. The best scoring defense in the country. We saw how they stifled what was once a stout Indiana offense. And if you want to make a team one-dimensional, as we saw Curtis Work get pressured after pressure after pressure and only throw for 68 yards, Michigan is one-dimensional. If they are going to stop the run, which Ohio State knows they have to do as one of the 3 best rushing defenses in the country, if you are going to make Davis Warren beat you, I like the recipe to favor the Buckeyes defense and Jim Knowles. Michigan under 10.5 team total for the game, Bobby. It's the way I would play it. And we've shared many a times outside of the Oregon game, right? And I guess the late touchdown for Ryan Day to make this statement, but it really did feel as though it was a true under in Columbus this past Saturday. Ohio State in their 8 conference games, 6 of 8, truly under. I would argue 7 of 8, except for the late score against IU as well, because of that Buckeyes defense. But Michigan team total under 10.5. If Michigan scores a touchdown, I will consider it a failure for the Ohio State defense on Saturday.
Really? That's pretty big. I mean, I like your heads out there, Ben.
I like that.
We appreciate you making some time with us earlier in the week. I know you got to travel, you got family, you want to get to where you need to get to, sir. We appreciate you taking some time. Go check him out on Twitter at Ben Scott Stevens on Sports Grid Radio. Busy week. Yeah. Football is in full throttle, man. Can't wait to talk to you again.
You guys know I will always make time for you. Can't wait to talk next week. And until then, have a very happy Thanksgiving.
You too,
Thank
bro.
you so much. Ben Scott Stevens, one of the best. Go check him out. Make sure you check him out on Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM. He does such a great job there. All right, coming up next, we'll wrap up the show. And maybe, Schlegel, if you're asking for it, I'll give.
I want it.
I'll give you a little taste. I'll give you a little taste of what that was it the Sunday night meeting with our guy, Mr. Earl Bruce, used to be all about. Coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. So Sunday nights before Michigan, when the late, great Earl Bruce was alive, Jim Tressel would welcome us in. And he'd talk to us, give him 5 minutes, and he'd go for 30. But it was always great. He'd come in there, start looking as you got to be a senior right in the front row. Let me tell you something, buddy, about this football game. It'll be the toughest, hardest hitting, clean game you'll ever find. And if you win this game, you get to walk down High Street with your chest in the air. But if not, you've got to walk the back alleys because the great players play great against Michigan. Chris Carter, Mike Lanise, Chris Spielman, all the greats play their very best when it mattered the most. So go out there and you be physical, buddy, and you take it to them. And that's it for this edition of the Bobby Carpenter Show. Stay locked in. 12:30 tomorrow. Jim Trust will be on with us. See you then.